Welcome to another fucking live. I'm your host Kellerman, and Donald Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu held a press conference just about an hour ago. And I'm gonna watch it, so why don't you have a seat and watch it with me? Pour yourself a drink, and let's see what they got to say. How's everybody doing today? Shit Show Joe, you're the man, dude. You really,
The President of the United States and the Prime Minister of the State of Israel.
I am now live on YouTube.
Thank you very much, everybody. So this is a big day, a beautiful day, potentially one of the great days ever in civilization.
Ever in civilization?
Been going on for
This must be a hell of an announcement.
Thousands of years. At least we're at a minimum very, very close, and I think we're beyond very close. And I want to thank Bibi for really getting in there and doing a job. We've worked well together, as we have with many other countries, both of us, with many other countries, which is the only way this whole situation gets solved. And I'm not just talking about Gaza. Gaza is one thing, but we're talking about much beyond Gaza. The whole deal, everything getting solved. It's called peace in the Middle East.
Won't that be the day?
So today is a historic day for peace, and Prime Minister Netanyahu and I have just concluded an important meeting on many vital issues, including Iran, trade, the expansion of the Abraham Accords, and most importantly, we discussed how to
Someone
end
just said he
the
sounds out of breath.
war in Gaza, but it's just a part of the bigger picture, which is peace in the Middle East.
Hello
And let's
to
call it
Iraq.
eternal peace in the Middle East.
This affects you.
So this is far more than anybody expected, but the level of support that I've had from the nations in the Middle East and surrounding Israel and neighbors of Israel has been incredible. Every single one of them. This afternoon, after extensive consultation with our friends and partners throughout the region, I'm formally releasing our principles for peace, which people have really liked, I must say. And these are done, not just routinely done, these are done with total consideration and working with the nations that we're talking about. All of these nations have made contributions to those suggestions. I want to thank the leaders of many Arab and Muslim nations for their tremendous support in developing the proposal, along with many of our allies in Europe. Europe has been very much involved, and as I was called by many of the
Everyone's
European
been
leaders,
involved.
most of them saying, is this true? Are you really doing peace in the Middle East? This is the most incredible thing we've heard. Some think it's the biggest thing they've ever heard. They called just to find out, was it just a rumor or is it actually done? And then he said, have you spoken to the Arab leaders? Have you spoken to all of the other leaders that we have to get? A lot of people involved in this one.
Yeah. The Middle East is a big
I also want
place.
to thank Prime Minister Netanyahu for agreeing to the plan and for trusting that if we work together, we can bring an end to the death and destruction that we've seen
Did
for so
Netanyahu
many
just
years,
cough into his
decades,
mic?
even centuries, and begin a new chapter of security, peace, and prosperity for the entire region. And I want to just say that my meetings and dialogue that we had with so many countries, Saudi Arabia as an example, the king is a phenomenal person. The Emir of Qatar, he's incredible people. UAE, and that's MBZ and ABZ. We're totally involved. These are the people that we've been dealing with and who've been actually very much involved in this negotiation, giving us
Qatar?
ideas,
Any
things they
mention
can
of
live
Qatar?
with, things they can't live with. Pretty complex.
Been pretty instrumental.
I mean, after 2,000, 3,000 years, whatever it is, I guess it's got to be a little complex, or it would have been done a long time ago. The King of Jordan was with us, as you know, in the United Nations. The President of Turkey, President Erdogan, is a friend of mine, a strong man, but a good man. president of Indonesia, somebody who's an amazing leader, Prabowo. He is an amazing leader and respected by everybody. He was in the room with us. We were together with most of these people that I'm mentioning. Others were by phone or the next day. The Prime Minister and the Field Marshal of Pakistan, they were with us right from the beginning. Incredible. In fact, they just put out a statement that they fully believe in this pact. It just came out just as I was walking around. They said, "Sir, you have a big notice from the Prime Minister of Pakistan and from the Field Marshal."
It's supposed to be the most historic peace statement ever.
President
what is
El-Sisi
the
of Egypt, who's terrific. And these are people I've gotten to know over the years. I mean, I would say it started around 2015 and then went into 2016 when the presidency officially began. But I've known him actually for a long time, and there are in many cases really great men. I can't say in all cases, but I will tell you in many cases they're great men and some great women too. They tend to be mostly men, however, I will say that. But
yeah, in the Middle East, they don't like women too much.
His proposal calls for the release of all remaining hostages immediately, but in no case more than 72 hours.
What?
So the hostages are coming back, and I hate even saying this from the standpoint, doesn't sound right, but it is so important to the parents. The bodies of the young men, I believe in almost all cases, the young men are coming back immediately. I met with parents. The parents felt as strongly about getting the body of their dead boy back as they did as though the boy were alive and well.
Thanks, Haitian.
It's so important to them. And it means the immediate end to the war itself, not just Gaza. It's the war itself. Under the plan, Arab and Muslim countries have committed.
Sir, that's my hair.
Writing in many cases, but I actually would take their word for it. The people I mentioned, I'd take their word for it. To demilitarize Gaza, and that's quickly. Decommission the military capabilities of Hamas and all other terror organizations. Do that immediately. And we're relying on the countries that I named and others to deal with Hamas. And I'm hearing that Hamas wants to get this done too, and it's a good thing.
Do they?
To destroy all terror infrastructure, including the tunnels, weapons, production facilities. They have a lot of production facilities that we're destroying. They'll also help train local police forces in the areas that we're discussing right now, in particular in and around Gaza, working with the new transitional authority in Gaza. All parties will agree on a timeline for Israeli forces to withdraw in phases. They'll be withdrawing in phases. No more shooting, hopefully. As progress
Israeli
is made
forces
toward achieving
withdrawing?
these goals, Arab and Muslim nations need to be allowed the chance to fulfill these commitments of dealing with Hamas. They have to deal with them because they were the one group that we have not dealt with. I haven't dealt with them. But the Arab countries are going to, and Muslim countries are going to be dealing with Hamas, and I believe they've already been there. I think they probably have an understanding, and they haven't maybe mentioned that, but I would imagine they do, otherwise they wouldn't have gone as far as they've gone. If they're unable to do so, then Israel would have the absolute right, and actually our full backing, U.S. full backing. Marco's here, and a lot of our leaders are here, our great Vice President, Susie Wiles, Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner. They've been so involved in this process. I don't think anybody else could have done it or even come close, but it's we're right there. We're right there. First time in thousands of years, I think you can probably say, if you really look into it, if you study back, if you're a scholar, you would say thousands of years. Israel would have my full backing to finish the job of destroying the threat of Hamas. But I hope that we're going to have a deal for peace. And if Hamas rejects the deal, which is always possible, they're the only one left. Everyone else has accepted it. But I have a feeling that we're going to have a positive answer. But if not, as you know, Bibi, you'd have our full backing to do what you would have to do.
Sounds more
Everyone
like an
understands that
ultimatum
the ultimate result
than
must
an
be the
agreement.
elimination of any danger posed in the region. And the danger is caused by Hamas. The tyranny of terror has to end, and this is, again,
You guys are crazy.
something that we're looking for. This is eternity. This is for forever. To ensure the success of this effort, my plan calls for the creation of a new international oversight body, the Board of Peace, we call it, the Board of Peace. Sort of a beautiful name, the Board of Peace, which
The
will
Board
be
of Peace.
headed not at my
Interesting.
request. Believe me, I'm very busy, but we have to make sure this works.
If you didn't know,
The leaders of the Arab
Trump's
world,
been busy.
Israel, and everybody involved asked me to do this, so it would be headed by a gentleman known as President Donald J. Trump of the United States. That's what I want to submit.
Pause before we continue. I'm just going to because people are asking in TikTok and Instagram, we're watching this on youtube.com/Kellerman Comedy. The experience is way better. My hair looks better. The green screen isn't a green screen. It's actually who's talking. You should go there. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the like button. Subscribe. Share the freaking live. What are we doing here? Let's watch this with me.
Extra work to do, but it's so important that I'm willing to do it, and we'll do it right, and we're going to put leaders from other countries on, and leaders that are very distinguished leaders, and we'll have a board, and one of the people that wants to be on the board is the UK former Prime Minister, Tony Blair. Good man, very good man, and some others, and they'll be named over the next few days, and it'll be quite the board. Working, everybody wants to be on it now. I don't know if that had anything to do. They named me and everybody else wanted to be on it. I guess they figure, well, he's a soft touch. He'll be easy to deal with. Working with the World Bank and others, it will be responsible for recruiting and training a new government that will be made up of Palestinians along with highly qualified experts from all around the world. Hamas and other terrorist factions will play
Thanks,
no
Justin.
role in the board, but they'll play no role in the governance of Gaza at all, directly or indirectly.
I did
As you
say
know,
Kellerman Comedy, but comedy is
thousands
spelled
of
with a K.
Hamas leaders have been killed, and soldiers have been killed, and we can never forget October 7th, but thousands have paid the price for that, and now it's time to get our hostages back and get back to trying to build something that's really great and very important. In our meeting today, Prime Minister Netanyahu was very clear about his opposition to a Palestinian state, and he continuously mentions October 7th, and I understand that.
Thanks,
Most people
Pyberg.
do. And I understand and respect his position on many things, but what he's doing today is so good for Israel. I notice that they have large crowds gathering in Israel all the time, and they have my name up. They like me for whatever reason, maybe I don't know, but they do like me. But they say two things: please get the hostages back, and please end the war. They've had it. It's had it. So
They've
I
actually
think
been
that's a
saying
very
that for a
popular thing
full
he did,
2
'cause he's a
years or
warrior.
3 years or however long
There's
this
no
fucking
doubt,
thing's been going on.
Getting back to a normal way of life. But he is a warrior, and Israel's lucky to have him. But now the people want to get back to peace. They want to get back to normalization in a true sense. Several countries have
Hi,
foolishly
Kendall. Thanks for coming to
recognized the
YouTube.
Palestinian state. As you know, some of our European friends, allies, good people, but they're really, I think, doing that because they're very tired of what's going on for so many decades. They've been presidents and prime ministers for years, and during this time, having to do with the Middle East, all they're doing is talking about the same thing over and over. They want to see it get back, and nobody wants that more than me, or I believe Bibi too. But the people of Israel want it, They really want it. They want
Do you
the
think that
hostages back.
Netanyahu's interested in
That
peace?
includes the probably
Tell me,
32
Chad.
bodies that we're talking about. 20
Benjamin
people
Netanyahu.
that are living, 32 or so people that are dead.
Is he
And
interested
they
in
want to
peace?
have peace. So let us not forget how we got here. Hamas was elected by the Palestinian people. Israel withdrew from Gaza thinking they would live in peace. Remember that a long time ago? They withdrew. They said, you take it. This is our contribution to peace. But that didn't work out. That didn't work out. It was the opposite of peace. They pulled away. They let them have it. And I never forgot that because I said, it doesn't sound like a good deal to me. As a real estate person, I mean, they gave up the ocean, right? Ron, they gave up the ocean. They said, who would do this deal?
Gave up
And it
the
still didn't
ocean?
work out. They were very generous, actually.
That's not actually how it went down.
They gave up the most magnificent piece of land in many ways in the Middle East, and they said, all we want to do now is have peace. And that request was not honored. Instead of building a better life for the Palestinians, Hamas diverted resources to build over 400 miles of tunnels and terror infrastructure, rocket production facilities, and hid their military command posts and launch sites in hospitals, schools, and mosques. So if you went after them, you'd be after them and you wouldn't even realize you ended up knocking out a hospital or school or a mosque. That terrible thing, terrible way to have to fight. No fight is good, but that's a real bad one. So there are many Palestinians who wish to live in peace. Many. I've seen so many of them. And they have support. And I challenge the Palestinians to take responsibility for their destiny, because that's what we're giving them. We're giving them responsibility for their destiny, fully condemn and prohibit terrorism and earn their way to a brighter future. They don't want the life that they've had. They've had a
Giving them the
If
responsibility?
the Palestinian Authority does not complete the reforms that I laid out in my vision for peace in 2020,
That's an interesting way of
they'll
looking
have
at
only
it.
themselves to blame. We're giving them an amazing footprint, and they have amazing support from the leaders of the Arab world and the Muslim world. Great leaders. These are great leaders. These are unbelievable leaders that have built great countries and very wealthy countries. What the future holds for the Palestinians, no one really knows, but the plan that we put forward today is focused on ending the war immediately, getting all of our hostages back, getting everything back. Hard to believe when you even say it, and creating conditions for durable Israeli security and Palestinian success. Israeli security is going to be involved. We're going to help you.
Getting everything
We'll
back.
be there with you.
But the
in terms
Palestinians
of
aren't getting anything
helping
back,
with
to be
security.
clear.
We wanna make sure
Palestinians
it
don't
works.
get
We just want to make sure it works.
their
There shouldn't be
lives or
a
their
shot
land
fired.
back.
No, there will be, I guess.
We're talking about
because that's the way
Israel
it
getting
seems to be,
things
but
kind of for
shouldn't
the
have to
first
be
time,
within a few
is
days.
what
There
he's
shouldn't have to be
describing
a
as
shot
getting them
fired.
back.
And maybe for eternity. Wouldn't that be nice? I hope it's true. I can tell you the leadership of that region feels that there's a good chance of it being true. So this will lead to this agreement that we're talking about will lead to a sustainable long-term peace. No president in history has been a greater friend of the state of Israel than I have, in addition to negotiating the Abraham Accords. I like to say
Some
it that
people would
way
say that's
because
not a good thing.
real people, that's
Where
what
do
they
you
call
fall?
Abraham. I would say Abraham, but it's so much nicer when you say Abraham. So much more elegant.
That
But
one's
the
just for the
Abraham Accords
Israelis.
are amazing. Jared, you did that along with your group of geniuses, and nobody thought that could be done. We have 4 countries, and Sleepy Joe Biden didn't do a thing. He didn't even know what the hell they were. He should have had them full up. But I think this will also lead to packing them. And who knows, maybe even Iran can get in there. I hope, we hope we're going to be able to get along with Iran. I think they're going to be open to it. I really believe that. But they could be a member. I long ago said,
think
I'll bet
so?
you at some point
We
Iran will
just
be a
bombed
member
them.
of the Accords. And little did I realize it was going to take this turn. That was some turn we did with the B-2s.
Sure was.
But
It sure was.
I think they.
But maybe
might
they'll be
very well
friendly
there.
now.
It's a great thing for them economically. I recognize the eternal capital of Israel. I opened the American embassy in Jerusalem. That was something that everyone said would never be done, could never be done. Virtually every president for many, many years, for decades, would campaign on making Jerusalem the capital of Israel. They campaigned on it over and over. Is that right, Steve? Is that right? Everyone, and when they got to it, and
I don't remember any U.S. presidents campaigning on making Jerusalem the capital of Israel?
And then I'd get calls from the leaders of various countries saying, please don't do it, please don't do it. It'll end the whole world, please don't do it. And finally, I just didn't say anything, and I did it. People were calling me before I did it because I heard I was going to do it, and leaders of countries were calling me, and I think it was on a Thursday that I did it, and they'd call me Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 3-4 times a day, and I said, tell them I'll call them back on Friday.
Wow.
And I announced it on Thursday, and
they have.
I called them back, the biggest people in the world, and they said, you've done it. I said,
wow, Bill Clinton did it, and George W. Bush did it, and Reagan, and Carter.
Israel, Jerusalem, and we wanted to talk yet.
Is that important to anybody in the chat? Tell me in the chat if you
so that was a lot easier
would vote for someone based on them making Jerusalem the capital of Israel.
Because I knew what they were calling about. And you know what? It turned out to be amazing.
We're live chatting right now, Slimer.
The end of the world, right?
Say what you want to say, dude.
And that's what they said. It didn't lead to anything. It just led to something that I promised and something that was very, very popular for Jewish people and a lot of other people too. I recognize Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights, and I cut taxpayer funding to the corrupt United Nations Relief and Works Agency. And United Nations was interesting because, as you know, a few days ago they introduced me. Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States, I'm looking at my teleprompter and the thing was dead, stone cold, dead.
He doesn't trust the teleprompter anymore now.
Beautiful speech to make. I'm back 30 feet back, and I'm saying, they're introducing me, there's nothing on my teleprompter. So, but I made a speech. I actually got good marks. You think Biden could have done that? I don't think so. I don't think he could have done that. I don't think too many people could have done it. But actually, it was actually more of a speech from my heart.
Biden especially probably couldn't have done it.
It was maybe better.
I don't think Biden made any speeches longer than 15 minutes towards the end of his presidency.
But I cut taxpayer funding for that very corrupt United Nations Relief and Works Agency, and nobody thought that would be done, and withdrew from the horrible Iran nuclear deal that was imposed upon Israel by Barack Hussein Obama and Biden. And I don't think Biden knew anything about it, though. I don't think he knows anything about it now, actually, if you ask him. He said, what is that? And we obliterated Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity, making it impossible for them to have a nuclear weapon.
Obama's not doing anything about it now?
About 2 months from then. But I've never asked Israel to compromise its security, but we had big, strong talk. Nobody's been better to Israel. No president's been better to Israel than Donald Trump. But
how does that make you feel?
Strong talk, Bibi and
no president has been better to Israel than Donald Trump.
And the people of Israel want it.
Tell me in the chat how that sentence makes you feel.
People of enemies of Israel want it, but they don't have really too many enemies right now. And you know what? Many countries have gained great respect for Israel, for the way they fight, for the job they do, including me. I had respect anyway, but they gained respect. History has shown us that those who have relations with Israel have thrived, while those who have devoted resources and attention toward the destruction and even annihilation of Israel have languished. They haven't done well. Israel's not going anywhere. They're going to coexist with other people and countries in the region, from Syria to Lebanon to Saudi Arabia. The promise of a new Middle East is so clearly within our reach. This is the closest we've ever come to real peace, not fake peace, not political fool's peace.
Not fake peace.
And we can get this difficult problem solved, the opportunities for all within that vast region of this world. It's a vast region. It's unlimited. the Abraham Accords show that all countries are better
Is this
off
how he's
when
gonna
they
say it from now on?
communicate and work together and embrace new opportunities. I hope Jared and Steve and Susie and Marco and JD, we have great people.
And
I
Dasher
hope
and
you guys are going to
Prancer.
work very hard to
Donner and
get these
Blitzen.
other countries in, because now they have no excuse. There's no longer an excuse. They were somewhere hesitant. And I tell you, the 4 countries that went in, I give them tremendous credit, and it's worked out incredibly well for them. In the same spirit, I'm pleased to report that earlier today, we took another important step toward greater understanding of the region. A short time ago, we had a historic phone call in the Oval Office with Prime Minister Tani, who's really a great person. So we had a great talk, and I was on the phone, and Bibi was talking. Prime Minister Al Thani was of Qatar. They really had a heart-to-heart conversation. It was a great conversation, I thought. It was productive. It was everything that you need to have something turn out to be successful. And I want to thank Bibi, and I want to thank the Prime Minister. It was fantastic. We agreed to launch a formal trilateral mechanism between Israel, Qatar, and the United States to begin a dialogue to enhance mutual security, correct misperceptions, and avoid future misgivings. And I want to thank Qatar, its leadership, and the Emir is a fantastic person. I think, I'm going to be his public relations man because I know him differently than a lot of people know him. But he wants peace. He wants to see peace. And his people, and they really acknowledge the critical role that they've played as mediator. And again, we're not quite finished. We have to get Hamas, but I think they're going to be able to do that. So now it's time for Hamas to accept the terms of the plan that we've put forward today. And again, this is a different Hamas than we were dealing with because I guess over 20,000 have been killed. Their leadership has been killed 3 times over. So you're really dealing with different people than we've been dealing with over the last 4 years, 5 years. Everyone
That's true.
has done their part and come to the table.
It's like
in
they
good
keep
faith.
killing
Our
Hamas
Arab
leaders, and
Muslim
yet
partners
Hamas
are fully
leaders
prepared
continue
to
springing
step
up.
and fulfill their commitments for the benefit of the people of Gaza and the entire region. They're willing to step up and do a lot. They really are. There are a lot of good people involved. Everybody who wants to see an end to the violence and destruction should be united in calling for Hamas to accept the extremely fair proposal so that we can end the war and get us back our hostages right now and have everlasting peace. And I look forward to having relationships with everyone. As the chairman of the board, I'll be involved, and we'll have meetings with some very smart people that'll be working over there to make sure that we haven't just been wasting time with an
Board of
agreement that
Peace
doesn't
he's
get
talking
done. The
about. He's
task
going
of
to be the
building peace will
chairman
not be easy.
of the Board of
There's
Peace.
some of the hardest problems in the world to solve, and that's why it's been going on for so many centuries.
Which sounds good, right?
But too many lives are at stake not
Sounds
to
pretty
try,
good.
and this was more than a try. I mean, I think this is something that gets done when you have virtually every country, and these are powerful
Thanks,
countries
Sandy.
that have
I
a
appreciate
lot of
that.
money, and the money can make things happen. A lot of countries try, and they don't have any money. These are very rich countries that can make things happen.
The
So
Saudis are
together
very
we'll
rich.
forge a much safer and more hopeful future for everybody, including Israel. And I want to thank Prime Minister Netanyahu for his partnership, and I want to thank all of the leaders, the kings and the emirs and the presidents and prime ministers, people I mentioned. And they've been absolutely fantastic to work with, and it's just happened very quickly. It's happened from a couple of weeks before I had a couple of meetings, but a couple of weeks before we went to the United Nations, and we had some
Thanks, Bert and
incredible
Lucas.
meetings. It all came to place. It all took place, and everybody wanted to be a part of it.
Someone
I
said
don't
they
have
love
anybody
Trump.
that
He's
said
trying.
They don't want anything to do with it. It's just the
He is.
opposite. And I'll tell
He's
you,
trying
a
something.
couple of years ago, a year ago,
Can't
I
deny
don't
that.
think we would have had this kind of participation, Mr. VP, right? I don't think we would have had. It's been amazing. The participation was 100%. Everybody wants to be a part of it. And everybody, those very strong countries, everybody wants it to work. So, Bibi, congratulations on this. This is, I think, this will be your
Thank you, the Sam
crowning
abides.
achievement, frankly. If this all works out, we think it will. It's going to be your crowning achievement, and I want to thank you very much for being here. Thank you, please.
Thank you. Thank you.
Someone's tuning in from war-torn Portland. Hope
Mr.
you're safe
President,
over there.
First, I want to thank you for graciously hosting me once again in the White House. And second, I want to thank you for your friendship and for your leadership. From Jerusalem to Tehran, from the Golan Heights to Gaza, you've proven time and again what I've said many times. You are the greatest friend that Israel has ever had in the White House. And Mr. President, you and I both know it's not even close.
It's not even
While you focus
close.
at home
Donald Trump
on
is
making America
Israel's
great again,
#1 best
your
friend.
leadership abroad is changing the world for the better, ending wars and advancing peace. I believe that today we're taking a critical step towards both ending the war in Gaza and setting the stage for dramatically advancing peace in the Middle East. And I think beyond the Middle East, in very important Muslim countries. I support your plan to end the war in Gaza, which achieves our war aims. It will bring back to Israel all our hostages,
Great.
dismantle Hamas's military capabilities,
Great.
end its political rule, and ensure that Gaza never again poses a threat to Israel.
Now that's the part I think people stick on.
We would
That
not
last
have
part.
achieved
How are you
this
going
turning
to
point
ensure that Gaza
without the courage and
remains
sacrifice
non-threatening?
of our incredibly brave soldiers? They fight like lions to defend the people of Israel, and they serve on the front line in the war between civilization and barbarism. Mr. President, when our two countries stand shoulder to shoulder,
Is it barbarism or
we achieve the
barbarianism?
impossible. Just a few months ago, in Operation Rising Lion and Operation Midnight Hammer, we struck a decisive blow against Iran's nuclear and ballistic missile program. Your bold decision to send those B-2s made the region safer and the world safer. Now, under your leadership, we're taking the next step to win the war and expand the peace. Your plan is consistent with the 5 principles my government set for the end of the war and the day after Hamas. Everybody asks, what is your plan for the day after Hamas? Here's our plan. Passed it in the cabinet. All our hostages, both those who are alive and those who died, all of them will return home immediately. Hamas will be disarmed. Gaza will be demilitarized. Israel will retain security responsibility, including a security perimeter for the foreseeable future. And lastly, Gaza will have a peaceful civilian administration that is run neither by Hamas nor by the Palestinian Authority. If Hamas agrees to your plan, Mr. President, the first step will be a modest withdrawal, followed by the release of all our hostages within 72 hours. The next step will be the establishment
modest
of an international
withdrawal.
body charged with fully disarming Hamas and demilitarizing Gaza. I appreciate your willingness to lead the body, Mr. President. I really appreciate it because you have a lot of things to do, and this is important. And it reflects the confidence that this will give everyone, that things will be followed up on all the commitments made. The fact that you're taking this on, I think, helps a lot to make sure that everything flows in the direction that we want. Now, if this international body succeeds, we will have permanently ended the war. Israel will conduct further withdrawals linked to the extent of disarmament and demilitarization, but will remain in the security perimeter for the foreseeable future. I think we should understand that we're giving everybody a chance to have this done peacefully. Something that will
Well,
achieve all our war objectives.
It's kind of
without
late
any further
to call
bloodshed.
anything that happens now
But if
peaceful.
Hamas rejects your plan, Mr. President,
We have peace when
Or
it's
if
all
they
over, maybe, but the acts
supposedly accepted
are
and
not
then-
peaceful.
then basically do everything to counter it, then Israel will finish the job by itself. This can be done the easy way, or it can be done the
The
hard way.
Israel way.
But it will be done. We prefer the easy way, but it has to be done. All these goals must be achieved because we didn't fight this horrible fight.
So that's the
Sacrifice
same.
the finest of our
Sounds
young
like
men
kind of the same
to have
ultimatum they've
Hamas
been
stay in
presenting
Gaza
over
threaten
and
us
over and
again
over
and
again
again
since the beginning of
with
this
these
war.
horrific massacres.
These horrific
Mr. President, I
massacres.
was
He's talking
encouraged
about what his
by your
own
clear
army
statement
is
at the
doing.
UN against the recognition of a Palestinian state. That would be an outcome that, after October 7th, would reward terrorism, undermine security, and endanger Israel's very existence. As for the Palestinian Authority, I appreciate your firm position that the PA could have no role whatsoever in Gaza without undergoing a radical and genuine transformation. In your 2020 peace plan, which you mentioned just now, you made clear what that transformation requires. It's not lip service. It's not checking a box. It's a fundamental, genuine, and enduring transformation. And that means ending pay to slay, changing the poisonous textbooks that teach hatred to Jews, to Palestinian children, stopping incitement in the media, ending lawfare against Israel at the ICC, the ICJ, recognizing the Jewish state, and many, many other reforms. It won't come as a surprise to you that the vast majority of Israelis have no faith that the PA Leopard will change its spots. But rather than wait for this miraculous transformation, your plan provides a practical and realistic path forward for Gaza in the coming years, in which Gaza will be administered neither by Hamas nor the Palestinian Authority, but by those committed to a genuine peace with Israel. I think this can be not only a new beginning for Gaza, I think it can be a new beginning for the entire region. Under your leadership, we can re-energize, well, I've got to contribute my own, we can re-energize the Abraham Accords. That's what it's called in the original Hebrew, Abraham. Abraham is fine, Abraham, however you want to call it. Under your leadership, Mr. President, we can re-energize the Abraham Accords that we forged 5 years ago.
Just say
We can
Abraham.
expand
Everybody
them to many more
in the
Arab
United
and
States,
Muslim
especially,
nations
everyone
that
says
choose
Abraham.
moderation over extremism. I think there's an opportunity here. It's not going to be easy. It's tough going, but I think if we succeed, you're absolutely right. We're going to open possibilities that nobody even dreamed of. But I think we dream of them.
Black sheep, welcome to
As you
the
told me, Mr.
party,
President,
if you want to call it that.
and you've told the world many, many times.
Possibly the most historic
said,
peace deal
Remember
ever
October 7th.
announced.
Remember October 7th.
If Hamas
And we
accepts
will-
it, even though it's
we
very
will
similar to
never
all the
forget
things they've rejected over and over
The
again for
horrors
the
of
last
October
2 years.
7th. And we will do whatever is necessary to make sure they don't happen again. Since October 7th, Israel's enemies have learned a hard truth. Those who attack us pay a heavy price. But those who partner with us advance progress and security
Get elected.
for their peoples. President Trump just said it. It's also in the Bible. It says, those who will bless you will be blessed, and those who will curse you will be cursed. And that's actually what is happening. We want the blessings. I think we've done a lot in the past 2 years to end the curse. We're not finished, but we've done a lot. And we've done a lot together. to
Tell
end
me in the
curse.
chat, do you think Israel's done a
I want
good
to
job
thank your
of
entire team for their
ending
efforts
the
to get to
curse
this
over the
point.
past 2 years?
I especially want to thank Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner for their indefatigable work to bring Israel and Arab states in the region closer together. I am deeply grateful to both of them for their work. We had a phone call today just to make it clear. I said to the the Prime Minister of Qatar, Israel was targeting terrorists, wasn't targeting Qatar. And of course, we regretted the loss of the Qatari.
But you targeted terrorists in Qatar. That's the problem. The problem isn't the people you killed. The problem is where you targeted them. Right?
The United States, Israel, and Qatar.
I could be wrong.
To work out
but I'm pretty sure the problem was
quite a few.
That Qatar is a sovereign state.
Or put it on a different footing, I think that would be good for everyone. Above all the people, the fine team, many helpers who've done this, I want to thank you, Mr. President. History has already shown that under your leadership, Israel and America can change the face of the Middle East. And today I'm hopeful that your plan to end the war in Gaza will do so again and do so soon. It will free our hostages, end Hamas's tyranny in Gaza, and enable a more secure and prosperous future for the peoples of our region. Thank you, Mr. President. May God bless America. May God bless Israel. May God bless the indispensable alliance between our countries. And may I add, in Hebrew, may we all be inscribed in the book of life. Thank you.
Thank you very much, baby. So I think while we wait for these documents to be signed and get everybody in line, I think it maybe is not really appropriate to take questions. I'm meeting with, as you know, a couple of Democrats in a little while about the country, about keeping our country open.
Yeah, we got lots of stuff going on here in the United States.
They're going to have to do some things because their ideas are not very good ones. They're very bad for our country. So we'll see how that works out.
I don't know if Medicare is really bad for our country,
today.
but
This was something that was amazing. I think, Bibi, I mean, depending on you, I think while we're waiting for signatures and waiting for approvals from a lot of different countries that are involved in this, we probably shouldn't take questions, or would you like to take a question or two from perhaps a friendly Israeli reporter, if there's such a thing?
That's a very, very tough proposition. But I would think, Mr. President, that I would go by your instinct that this is, we'll have enough time for questions. Let's settle the issue first, I think. No.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
I mean, look, to Benjamin Netanyahu's credit, Trump just offered him the opportunity to take some press questions from friendly Israeli publications, and he still said no. So, that's something, right? Oh, boy. I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to tell me how you felt about that, because I don't really know what to make of it. It didn't seem like there was anything new mentioned. To me, everything that they described as being part of their peace agreement sounded like every other peace agreement that Israel has put forward. So I'm not really, they didn't go into detail, so I just don't know what the differences are. But what they did describe was identical to every other Israeli peace agreement that's been shot down, for lack of a better term. And, we got to hear Trump and Netanyahu talk about just how good of friends they are. Thanks, Espinoza. We'll talk amongst yourselves, and I'll interject here as I'm reading. President Trump and Israel work together to prevent a terrorist occupation of Europe. What? I think that's one of those narratives going around Europe right now, that there's some kind of Islamic uprising happening. If you're in Europe, tell me if you believe that. Do you think Trump will flip-flop like he did with Ukraine and Russia? He doesn't really flip-flop so much as kind of play both sides. And I don't even mean that in a negative way. I mean, you can decide whether it's a negative thing or a positive thing. I didn't intend it to be... That's a neutral statement. He, at least in his rhetoric, wants what's best for both places, right? I mean, you may not agree that what's best for Gaza is for everybody to leave and Israel to take over everything. But he presents that as being the best thing possible for Gaza. And same thing with Russia and Ukraine. Although Ukraine, he's a little more deferential to. He's a little more, he's not saying that Ukraine should just give up their land and make peace. He does seem to be arming, arming Ukraine while buddying up to Russian President Vladimir Putin. But who knows how it's all going to shake out. Okay. There's some food for thought for you. Think about it. You can always message me on videos and whatever platform you're following me on. But follow me on multiple platforms. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I don't know when I'm going to get shadow banned. That's why I tell people to follow me on multiple. People are like, I haven't seen you in forever. Well, that's because you're only following me on one platform. And that platform probably shadow banned me recently. Make sure that if you want to support the channel, there's all kinds of ways to do that. Check out the links in the bio, and have a great day. Thanks for giving a shit, everybody.